Welcome to Wednesday's edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And if you're just joining me now, we'll give you a couple minutes to get settled in. I highly encourage you to take a minute or two just to bring yourself and your body into this present moment. Just to bring yourself and your body into this present moment. We're going to be having a communication with the Ascended today on the seasons of humanity. And I asked them what they meant by that. They said, humanity has seasons, much like the seasons of summer, spring, winter, fall. Humanity has its seasons too. And we're going to go into that in detail. Good morning, Heather. Wonderful to see you here today. Yeah, it won't be a very long event today, but it will be enough to make us think. You know, this present moment that you have, this moment, this now that we have right now, is infinitely more precious than any future consideration or past experience. This now moment is more precious than any future consideration or past experience. Getting to that realization will take you one step towards real wisdom and real freedom. Freedom isn't something you get from a politician or your family members. Freedom is what you are being in this moment. And in this moment, the only way you can know that you're really being in this moment is you will feel exquisite. You will not feel distracted. You will not feel disturbed. You will not feel impatient. You will not feel any disrespect towards yourself or any other part of life from this present moment. Now, the seasons of humanity are different cycles. They call them long cycles and short cycles of humanity, where humans have opportunities in the past where we have reached very, very elevated states of technology. The most obvious one is what we call the Egyptian one. They say the Egyptian one was significantly more advanced as a civilization than what we are as a civilization today. But as the Egyptian technological society was evolved, there were societies of humans that were evolved greater than that, but also way lesser than ours too. We've had many seasons of growing and evolving. They stress that the perspective of experience is what is needed, not the perspective of judgment. The perspective of experience is what you are here to gain, so that you begin to understand the nature and function that you have through the experience of your creation in this world. What are you being? What are you doing? How will you articulate what you are as an expression through that unique form that you find yourself in? Good morning. Good morning, Tori. Good morning, Tanya. Good morning, Jana. It is a brand new day. So, seasons of humanity, we are finding this place now where humanity is facing a transition from what it is into something that it is not. You are observing this movement in consciousness. And if you view things exclusively from the perspective of being a physical body, you are going to view things as good and as bad, and not simply as change. Although your diverging viewpoints from one another as individuals, as collectives, as different orders and organizations, while they are sometimes in contrast to one another, they are part of that process of creation. in that the evolution, the transmutation, the transformation of your species into a new expression of being is inevitable. You already understand very clearly that the substance you call DNA is a form of coding. It is a form of information that has been put into the biological manifestation that you see in this world around you. This coding has very precise functions, and you have been learning to recode, and this is what we see going on now. You're in that process of recoding your system in order to articulate a different manifestation of your humanness. But what you call humanness now and what you called humanness many thousands of years ago are very different expressions of one and the same thing. You cannot change the source, but you can change the code that the source articulates. And so this season of the humanity that you see now is going through a transition. Some of you call it ascension. Some of you call it political motivation. Some of you call it authoritarianism. It does not matter what label your mind or your body will choose to try and give to what is occurring now. The truth is you are going through a transformation, a metamorphosis, so to speak, similar to what a caterpillar goes through when it becomes a butterfly. Well, you too are going through that process in a way that the caterpillar does not know what it's going to become, but it knows it has to do what it's doing to become what it doesn't know it's going to become. And when it becomes the butterfly, the caterpillar no longer exists, but the butterfly does. So too, you are going through a very similar process as a collective, as individuals. In previous civilizations, this process could happen faster or slower, depending on what was at play in your consciousness at the time. We find it very interesting that you still struggle with the idea that somehow everything in your experience remains the same, that any one civilization could last forever, which is utterly and completely ridiculous. There are seasons to your species, as there are seasons to all things, not simply in the environment of your planet, but in the environment of your solar system, in the environment of your galaxies, in the environment of your universe, in the environment of the multiverses. There are seasons that are marked by the comings and goings of consciousness in one state or another. And what would you choose to do now is up to you, but we would highly encourage you that you begin to be in the present of what you are experiencing, to be conscious of it, to be mindful of it, to enjoy and savor it, because you will never experience a civilization like this again. You will never experience a body like you have at this time again. You never experience repetition in infinite diversity. You can extend to certain degrees your experience of matter from the perspective of what you are as a soul, or what you might call awareness, or as a consciousness. You may experience time very differently, in that you can experience time as you do in that body as a very short period of time. But you can experience your awareness of knowledge and wisdom over tens or thousands of years. You can experience the awareness of your being measured in terms of millions of years, if you understand the nature of who you are. But the seasonal process will still apply. You can never remain the same, nor can your consciousness ever remain the same or re-experience something once it is experienced. You essentially get one chance at every moment to experience it as you will, as you choose, as you decide. One chance, one moment. This is all you have. And it is very fleeting, but exquisitely delicious when you are deeply and profoundly engaged in it, in being that which you are, and accepting your experience of that which you are, and being dynamically expressive in being what you are. Much the same as a child is drawn to pick a flower off a lawn. Look at what you are drawn to do and do it. Allow the expression of your being through that form that you find yourself in now to be all it is possible to be. And so your season as a species is changing again. And all of you, whether you choose to acknowledge this fact or not, are aware of this, that there is a change underway in the human world. And you may think that humans are exclusively responsible for this, and we would simply disagree with you and say that that is not wholly true, that there are other aspects of consciousness than what your senses or your mind or your knowledge will let you to glean or understand. But it is going on, and you all know this on some visceral level. Each and every one of you know that there's transformation, this change of seasons is underway. And how you will choose to move through this change is really what you want to consider. As you may move through these changes with the exuberance of a child dancing merrily through a field of birds and butterflies, or you may barrel through it as if you were planning on suffering and wailing and gnashing your teeth in protestation at the natural change of events that is going to happen, whether you like it or not. You can be in the process of transformation and change. You can try to control the change, or you can just enjoy the experience of being change, which is what you do anyway, whether you like it or not. You have no choice but to experience the being of change that you are. And you may want it to be one way, and you may want it to be another way, but it is the way it is. And your control, if you want to call it control, to articulate creation, to manifest conditions that are more desirable to you, is always limited to one moment. What are you in this moment? What are you being in this moment? What are you dynamically engaged in this moment? This is the only place from which you can have any say in the joy of your experience or the catastrophe of your experience. The choice is yours. You may have either, but in this moment, you have some limited control over what will follow. But the seasons of your species as a whole have changed many, 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 many uncountable times, more so than your civilization can dig up the bones of old civilizations. There are far more civilizations, the bones of which could never be found again. You have these evidence to show you that you were before, and something was before, and something was before, and something was before. There will be something after, and something after, and something after. And it does not matter. What matters is, what is it that you, dear one, are going to make the moment be for yourself? You are free to choose suffering as freely as you are to choose joy. This is your only, what you would call a superpower, is to make the choice whether you will be focusing your life on pain and misery or joy and love. And there is no judgment either way. There is just, again, the nature of your experiencing your being through this condition of time and space, which is a very small fraction of an infinite spectrum of potential of being. But it is real to you nonetheless for many of you, and therefore you should enjoy it, should you not? And if you're going to suffer, then you should enjoy that too, but do so consciously. If you're going to decide to suffer, make certain You decided, I'm going to suffer, and enjoy your suffering. If you decide to be enjoying, then decide, I'm going to enjoy my joy. If you're going to be creative, then decide you're going to enjoy your being creative. The limitlessness that you have available to you in the present moment cannot be fully actualized until you begin to be conscious in the moment, to be deliberate in the moment, to be mindful in the moment. Then in the moment, you may find that place that some of you call heaven or divinity or nirvana or wonder. It does not matter what term or name you give to it. The truth is that it exists only in one moment. It does not exist in the next moment. It does not exist before. It is here and now, right where you are. And are you in this moment? Are you in this moment saying, I am grateful to be in this moment? Are you in that? In that moment, you have a slight influence in this moment, a slight influence to go this way or to go that way. You have a slight influence over which way you will go, as individuals and as a species, and all of you together, like the oarsmen in a great boat, all of you together, pushing your own little oar. And some of you are pushing them in different directions, and the ship seems to go in unexpected ways. And you can learn to coordinate. You can have that process of trying to get others to row along with you. And that's a beautiful experience too. We have experienced that in many civilizations that we have existed in, where we have found that we could unite a whole collective together to produce really incredible and wonderful manifestations. And you may do this and you may not do this, and there will be no judgment upon you. Your judgment is your experience of what you do with your moment. What you do with your moment is your judgment upon your experience of being. We would simply say to you that that is all you need to do, is to articulate how it is you are going to experience this moment. Do not worry about tomorrow or yesterday. How will you choose to experience this moment? So many of you seek to find resolution by going before you or after you, try to get ahead of yourself or behind yourself to try and create something that already exists. You do not need to make the moment perfect. It already is. You just have to become aware of that fact. Relinquish your thoughts, relinquish your memories, relinquish your future considerations, and in an instant you can find freedom. You can find peace. You can find whatever you choose. And you will bounce back and forth from one to the other until you finally find the one that is right for you. Some of you find control and power are right for you. Some of you find being independent and individual is right for you. Some of you find that working with certain individuals is proper for you. You will each find your own way of being the moment that you need to be that which you are in the moment. But it comes down to very simplicity. There is a season of change, and you are all aware of it, and we are all with you watching eagerly to see the creation unfold, much the same way as you might watch a chrysalis suspended from a branch in a tree and watch it open and look at that wonder of seeing it has become this chrysalis, and all of a sudden something opens, and we watch your humanity with a similar delight to that you are once the caterpillar and you have become this chrysalis, and something is changing, and you do not know what it is, but you know that the change is unfolding. It is inevitable. It is deliciously inevitable. And so do not think that you are doomed to suffer, for suffering is just one stage of transformation. You, in some of your religions, have destroyers and builders and creators in some of your religions, and you say these are the representations of consciousness, and this is quite true. But you do not need to be subjective to either of those positions. You can be experiencing all three of them. And many of you have in your life experienced times of great joy, times of great sorrow, times of great expression. And what exists within the whole of you exists within each part of you as well. We simply came here to remind you that this is inevitable. Seasons of change are natural for all creatures, all beings, through all points of infinite spectrums of being. There are seasons. It is the way of matter. It is the way of energy. It is the way of consciousness. Whether you are physical or a thought form or a spiritual entity, there are seasons. The time frame of these seasons can adapt and change. The lifespan of a planet is significantly longer than the lifespan of a human individual. The lifespan of a solar system is significantly longer than the lifespan of a planet. The lifespan of a galaxy is significantly longer than the lifespan of a solar system. Time is relative in that sense that each has its own, but you, dear one, the awareness that we address right now, that is knowing that there is more to your experience of being than what your 5 physical senses are dictating to you. Your time is far more expansive than that of the physical body, far more expansive than that time of your planet and your solar system, far more expansive than the time of a galaxy or even a universe. The time of you as the entity that you truly are spans a great distance of what you would measure in time and space, but still, in comparison to the infinitude of consciousness, you have your seasons too. You will also come and you will go and you will be reborn and you will do this dance again in different ways. So be delighted and be excited, for the change is happening in spite of your protestations and your vexations, your desires to control and manipulate situation and circumstance and matter. Regardless, you cannot escape the fact that this is occurring. You have this world that you call Earth with its 4 dominant seasons. You know, there was a time when this Earth had but one season. It had one season. And there was another time it had one season. It had times where it was all summer. It had times where it was all winter. It had times where it was all spring. It had times where it was all fall. Every physical form goes through that process of seasons. And your mind cannot conceive most of the outside of what you think you already know. But we simply offer you the understanding that we have gleaned through our experience, that this world in which you find yourself is undergoing a remarkable transformation, not only your species, but everything around you. And you are part of it. You cannot escape it, whether you like it or not. You get to experience it. We highly recommend that you choose to enjoy and indulge in the experience of your present moment. Wow. Good morning, everybody. I want to thank the Ascended for being so candid and so frank with us. It's listening to what they're saying. There's this, Norm and I were watching this program on the Arctic, and there's this caterpillar that lives in the Arctic, and it takes up to 10 years, think about this, a caterpillar, in order for that caterpillar to become a butterfly, it takes 10 years for it to spin its cocoon, go through the process of transformation in the cocoon, and then emerges as a butterfly. 10 years. 10 years. It's an amazing thing. That's just a moth, it's an Arctic moth or butterfly that does this. And it goes through that process. Time is pretty cool. Anyway, let's get into some quick questions and answers. I'm sure you want to ask some questions of them. Hi, Trish. Oh, thank you so much, Trish. Really appreciate that. Hi. Ruth is asking, how can I bring in nuance, sweet and subtle difference in or shade of meaning, expression, or sound? You are this. They're saying you are this. They're saying you got to get you are this. I don't know. Your guardian angel keeps tapping you on the shoulder and saying, "Be here and now. Be here and now. Like, be in the present moment." Like, people don't realize that life doesn't happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen yesterday. It's happening right this instant, right? Like, this is what the message they keep saying over and over and over again. Come into the present moment. Master Jesus, the kingdom of God is here and now. It's not anywhere else. But how many of us spend time to actually delight in the moment? Not worry about what he's doing or she's doing or they're doing, but just to be in the moment of your own life. You're never going to have that body again. You're never going to have that mind again. It's a one-off shot. Why not enjoy it? And if every human being on this planet actually savored and enjoyed the experience of their own being in the present moment, yeah, they're saying we would have a very different society, a different civilization than we have right now. It's very, very different if people actually enjoyed what they are being in the moment. Cool. Thanks, Ruth. Great question. Hi, Daniela. Hi. Yeah. We're yeah. Question from ZB. Yesterday, I felt Gaia's embrace as my mother after a heartfelt mourning with my mom and healing. My great-grandmother that raised me is the only mom missing from this. Any message from her? You're mistaken. She lives through them also. She's saying you are mistaken. I was not absent from this. Yeah, she's saying so many. You still think of me in terms of who I was, not who I am. This happens a lot when people leave the bodies. People think in terms of who they were, who they remember, not who they are as a being. And you can tap into them anytime, and they'll use the information you have in your mind about who they were to communicate with you, so that you'll comprehend and understand their language. But she says, no, she was very, very much there. Yeah. She said she was dancing around you guys. She was dancing it up around you guys. There was a spark. She said there was a spark that you noticed, but you did not take note of. You noticed, but you didn't take note of it. What do you mean by that? So the spark had happened, and you caught it for an instant, but you didn't stop thinking, there's that. She's there. So if you go back, she's saying if you go back in memory, you'll actually be able to tap in that moment where you saw that spark, like a flash. Cool. Great question, by the way. That's cute. She loves you very much. So many of you don't realize how much you're loved. Even by those people that have been horrible to us, when they leave the body, they look on it very differently when they're not in their bodies anymore. They see it very differently. Question from Daniela. Being multidimensional, we have multiple lives at the same time, at the same moment. Do we know those presences in the presence? They're saying yes, you can know these if you want to. You already do. Why not just enjoy the perspective you have? You'll have an opportunity to experience those other ones. Yeah. They're saying, hang on, they're just downloading a bunch of information. They're saying that your conceptions of how time and space work really restrict you from appreciating what you have and knowing that you can experience all that you have. That the moment you have in this body that you are in right now, this moment is literally a small, small moment. That all of these other experiences of multidimensional time exist too. You cannot lose them in a quantum consciousness. You experience one and you can experience another. That's what you're doing. It's what you've been doing for many eons, for many lifetimes on this dimension. You move from one form to another form to a form, and you can only experience one at a time. Why would you want to experience more than one at a time? That could be very confusing. And most of you are very confused already. So why not work at experiencing the one you have, than seeking to find the other ones that are already there that you'll experience when the time comes? Well, I like that. Great question, Daniela. Yeah, so so we are, yeah, it's like, everything has a season. Everything. Birth, death, rebirth, that process. The three gunas, the builder, the destroyer, and the builder. You had it earlier, didn't you? When they said it to me. The builder, the destroyer, and the creator. Those three gunas, the builder, the destroyer, and the creator. And we all experience that. We experience that every day of our lives. We get up in the morning, we build our day. And the day wanes, every area of our life. But yeah, they just want to keep emphasizing, keep it on point. That it's important you understand the sacred bliss that awaits for you in this moment, not in what you should anticipate next or what is to before, but to be in this moment. For it is changing, and you must understand that because it is changing, you cannot stop it. You are part of it. Enjoy your being in the change. Enjoy your being in the change. Stop seeking to be somewhere other than where you are. So many of you do that. It's very, very funny to watch, but you can never be where you are not. This is just the truth. You can never be where you are not. You can only be where you are. And your humanity is opening up to a whole new expression of being, and you are all part of it, whether you like it or not. Thank you. Question from Heather. My aunt passed over last evening. Yay! Would you allow me to say goodbye? I wanted to put on speaker. I was ignored. Can you tell me if she wanted to say goodbye? Yes. Again, it's funny. This is the second time I've been given this image by them. There's an image. I'm getting, again, they can only communicate in a way that I can interface. So I'm being given this image of Alistair Sim. If you've ever seen the movie A Christmas Carol, the original one with Alistair Sim, at that moment where he's on his bed and he wakes up and it's Christmas Day and he jumps up and he starts jumping around singing that song, I don't know anything, I don't know anything. Well, she's in that kind of joy right now. She's communicating that joy to you. Now she knows that she doesn't know anything. And there's just great joy. Yes. She says, allow this joy to be received. Allow this joy to be received by you. For that joy is within you. That joy is within you. It is not simply something I can offer you, but I am in that. And in that you may catch a glimpse of it in yourself. I like that. Thank you. Yeah, so it's really true, eh? Like we can demonstrate things because we want to be that way. And our demonstration becomes an opportunity for others to get a glimpse of another facet of themselves, right? Isn't that cool? I love that. Thank you so much. It's funny. Yeah. Names are not important anymore. When you leave the body, the name is not important. Your being is more important than the name. And it is anyway. Thank you. Hi, Lauren. Good morning. That's funny. Yes, Lauren. She's very slow and meticulous in the way she says, but she's saying it's time to just sit down for a minute and enjoy it. Time to just sit down, take it in, and enjoy it. Yeah. Sometimes the challenge is, to communicate the feeling that they can communicate. When you tune into them, you feel their love, and you feel their gratitude, and you feel their presence. And so I let me say this to you, that love has no measure. Love has no measure. Her love has no measure. It's not limited. Be in that moment of her love. Be in that moment of her love. Thank you, Lauren. I think we're just about done. I'm going to take one more question. From Tanya. Yes. She's asking, my whole body is buzzing like a bee. and I keep getting loads of images in my head, but it's all coming in very fast. Any message about how to slow that down? Yes, you may simply turn to this. You may simply turn to this and command it to slow. Simply say, be still, be still, be still. You must formulate your intent in order for your intent to become, to be in this stillness. You may choose this. You may step back from this and just choose to be in stillness. Many of you don't realize how much choice you have over what it is you have going on in your mind. And many of you still believe that your mind is some mechanism that's independent from you. Some of you believe that the streams of inspiration and wisdom that we pour down at your request, that you have no control over that, but we simply say that is not true. That you may simply say, be still, be still, be still, be still. And in this, your command, which is the word, in this, your command, which is the word, you may say a thing and it will be done. Be still, be still, be still. As easily as you may say, be joyful, be joyful, be joyful. Your word is a command. Your word is a command. I'm so grateful for everybody that's come here today. I'm so grateful for the Ascended Day. I'm so grateful for your mothers and your aunts and the other beings that work with you right now that are connecting to you in the way that they connect to you in. I hope to see you on Friday's edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. Also, I want a reminder, you have to up until the 15th of October to submit your questions. The link is in the description box, the email to send your questions to Master Jesus to about the Second Bible. Any questions you have for Master Jesus, please submit them to the Second Bible at protonmail.com. The link for the email is in the description box below the videos. We will receive questions up until the 15th of October. That, I believe, is this Friday. And I look forward to going over more of those questions. And thank you to everybody who submitted questions so far. Amazing questions. Again, I'm not looking at them, but I can see that they're there. I can see the subject matter, but I'm not going into detail about them because it's just not something that they're not for me. They're for Master Jesus. And he'll start answering them as we begin to go through the creation of his book. I want to say much love to all of you guys. Thank you so much for coming out today. And thank you, Patreons, for your support. For those of you who want to support my channel, you go to our Patreon page. It's in the link in the description box below. And much love to everybody. We'll see you on Friday. So, bye-bye.